Hi everyone, this is Rochelle with Vrai, and today I'm here with Luann Dunsford of Starlight Solutions for You. She is starting her new venture, and I'm really excited to bring her here today. She has quite the journey to share with us, and I think you'll find it really intriguing on what sparks her joy, what she's trying to give to other people, and using her talents and experience to better the world. Hi, Luann.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm really excited. We met just several weeks ago and we've really bonded over a lot of commonalities, not just business related, a lot of personal things too. And I really appreciate our transparent conversations. And I'm proud to bring you here today.
Thank you. When you meet someone, sometimes there is a spark that happens, and I really feel that that's happened between you and I. And it's just been especially grateful on my end that as I'm embarking on this journey, that I have someone that can help give me some insight, advice, and support along the way.
Well, I'm happy to help however I can. I really hope that this conversation is going to spark some inspiration for people looking to make a shift or really follow their gut with change. And because that's where you're at with your life right now. So let's start from a little bit from the beginning and talk about what you're currently doing and what your role has been over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, so I have been in this company for a couple of decades, started as their controller at the Michigan Works Association, and I've been the CEO. This is my 15th year. And so running a small nonprofit has been incredibly gratifying. The service and purpose of what we try to achieve has been, very soul fulfilling work, which is something that matters to me. Watching the staff that I've had come and go along the way, helping them reach their full potential has been also something that I've enjoyed very much. It's been quite a ride, and I am very blessed to be here.
Great. Well, so how are you serving others? What do you do right now? What does your organization do?
So we're a small membership nonprofit organization. And so we serve our members so that our members can do their jobs better. And our association has three main pillars of work and advocacy and education, trying to affect strong, positive policy in alignment with our membership's goals. Education, professional development, so that as laws or policy changes, we bring in training and education so that the frontline staff knows how to run the programs. And then we also offer other kinds of support. So for example, in training, so for example, in the pandemic, we did Feel Good Fridays because the stress level was really, really high. So we were bringing in trainers that could give some information to help people cope. So training and education. And then we do a lot of, I don't know, we call it connection, voice, knowledge, and connection. So connection, we are a clearinghouse of information. We run a lot of work groups and support for the members to connect with each other, share great practices so that they can, improve their processes. So voice, knowledge, and connection are three pillars.
Nice. Well, and I think that threads nicely into where you're going. So let's talk about your feelings a little bit for what happens when change occurs or you're listening to your gut, because I'm really excited for your new venture. And I want people to hear about that because we've all started a business for some reason.
Mhm.
It's usually because we want change in our life or we want to make a difference. We feel like we're hindered or we're hitting a wall, whatever the case may be. So we are dealt with some sort of obstacle. And then what it could be an internal struggle. And then we create something. And that's what you've done here. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, the last few years, my membership has gone through a great deal of change. 4 or 5 years ago, we had 25 organizations. We now have 16. So there was a lot of change, consolidation and change. And over the last couple of years, we've been grinding through a restructure of the association itself. So changing the entire board of directors makeup. And so throughout all of this, and as the foundation of what we do in Michigan Works is really helping people fulfill their potential, right? Breaking down barriers and having you fulfill your potential. So all of that has been in my mind. And specifically over the last few years, as we've been in meeting after meeting, talking about where we want the organization to go, where we want the membership to go, I had time to sit back and say, where do I want to go? And I've never really done that in my career. In my career, I've always maximized the opportunity that's there. So early, a million years ago, when I was a waitress, all of a sudden I become the shift leader. You know, here I started at the controller, then I'm the chief operating officer, then I'm the CEO. So I always continued to take what was before me and make the most of it. But to sit back and say, what do I want? What does the authentic Luann have to offer? And it was uncomfortable to sit back and try to list attributes of mine. That is not what I do. I deflect. I shine the light on others. And so to do that soul searching was really quite a journey. And I had to be brave to do that. I really did, because there's a lot of fear. And as I tell my daughter, moving forward despite fear is bravery. And so if you can be brave, you can get to that other side. And that's where I'm headed. That's what I'm in the middle of. And very vulnerably, honestly telling you that I could sit here and say it's all shining and wonderful, but there's some fear with it. And you've got to use that. It's a gift. A gift of fear can keep you sharp and in tune with your authentic self.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. And it's not like it's a dark day. I will say my most creative, inspiring things have happened at the really low points in my life. Sometimes I was just dealt a bad hand and was forced to create something and forced to create change. It's fortunate that you can choose this change for yourself and you don't have that other like tumultuous energy coming at you. But let's talk a little bit about, you and I had a conversation about, I was talking about judgment. You're talking about a lot of advice coming at you. So let's talk a little bit about how you filter the choices in front of you and the options and all the unsolicited advice well, some of it may be solicited, but a lot of experiential conversation coming at you from other people.
So yeah, it can be overwhelming. What I have is I have a simple Word document that when I started this journey, I'll put the date and bullet points. So if you and I are having a conversation and there's some advice coming my way, I can put it down. And by me, that act of putting it on paper gets it out of my head, because I don't have to sit and grind on it. And I think my biggest success right now has not been going into complete panic as I'm creating, because I'm trying things on, seeing how they feel, going, that isn't quite right. I can go and I'm going to try in another area. And when you have advice coming at you, both solicited and unsolicited, you can question, oh my gosh, I was headed in this direction, but now this person says you must do that. And so when I hear you need and you should, it's a bit of a red flag for me. I want to listen and hear what someone has to say, but understand that that is coming from their life, their view, their experience, which is different than mine. So there may be a nugget that I can take, but as I put it down on paper and can kind of synthesize what it is, I know that at the end of the day, I must be authentically me. I just talked about this on a woman in leadership panel. The question was, tell us your highs and, a high and a low of your career. And I could talk about some amazing success, some incredible things that I've been blessed to have been able to do. And I can talk about some crushing defeat, but that doesn't serve, I don't think, you. It isn't going to, so she did this or she did that. What I think mattered to me when I reflected on that question was, my highs all happened when I listened to my authentic self, moved forward, made decisions, and acted on them. They may not have been perfect, but that's where the highs came. And the crushing defeat or the lows were in those moments when I let outside noise make me question. I didn't move, I didn't make a decision, or I made a decision to please. Let's do this right now, do that right now. And it was all wrong. So the takeaway is when you take a breath and does this align with me? Here's some advice that I did get a long time ago from someone about making decisions. When you make a decision, there are 3 aspects, and when they're all in alignment, it's a perfect decision and you can move forward confidently. The problem is the 3 rarely align. And that is, what are your thoughts? What are the thoughts going through your head and how are they going? Are the words going through your head in a nice even tone, or are they thought? You know, those rushing, and are, you know, what is it? What are you thinking and how are you thinking? How are you feeling? Do you feel positive and happy about it, or do you feel anxious and aggravated? What are your feelings? What is that? And then your physical body. Is your body relaxed? Are you tense? Are you pacing? What are you doing? But when your thoughts and your feelings and your body are in alignment, man, you're golden. Problem is, it doesn't happen like that. So you have to listen to those things, be aware of them, and then move. Make a decision, but make it in alignment with you, and you'll be okay.
That's really great advice for us. It's a Tuesday morning. A lot of things come up for me when you talk about that, because especially with the lows, you know, I mentioned like my dark days. The dark days that I can pinpoint, 3 were external events that somebody had done to me, is how I was feeling. And I internalized that to feel attacked or victimized, or it all had to do with I had a personal relationship, and then I had 2 business relationships. They were all relationship based, all because I avoided, because now I'm past victim mode, right? I'm 5 years out from my last big dark day. And I've had time to really reflect, because I think sometimes we are victim, like truly a victim of a circumstance for a minute, but you can't stay there. And if you see that, it's a gift to change and realize that time is your greatest gift. You know, if you love yourself, then make the change happen. Take the opportunity to pivot, even through heartbreak and disappointment. And I'm speaking from experience, and it does take bravery, and there's a lot of judgment that comes at you, especially with relationship issues, because people can relate to that. Everybody has a relationship with someone. And I just had a million things come at me. So I appreciate your vulnerability and sharing that, but also in saying like, it's a gift, and filter it. And you talked to me about the scientific method. Can you repeat what you told me before we started recording? Because I love that.
I can. I'm really working on this right now. My friend Bill Sturley from California, he is a communication expert, and I've worked with him for a couple of decades. And in the last couple of years through this journey, working very closely with him, trying to incorporate some of what he teaches. So if you are a scientist, you observe and you evaluate, and then you make decisions. But when you get down below that, and if you just swim in criticism and judgment, you're really going to be there. You're going to stay in that trauma. You're not going to be able to move forward. And part of that observation and evaluation is based on needs. So for me, I have some needs that are hot buttons for me. I like truth. I like fairness, respect, coordination, collaboration. And when those needs aren't met, I'll have a pretty strong feeling, you can have a feeling reaction to that of frustration or anger or disappointment or sadness, all of those things. So the trick for me now is when I'm having that interaction with somebody, whether it's business or personal, is to observe and evaluate what are their needs that are not being met, that are helping to that are driving them to say or do or act in a manner so that I can understand it better. That doesn't mean that it's going to be okay, right? You still are able to set those boundaries. What I am finding that's so interesting in the past couple of years is the advice that I have been giving my daughter since she was in kindergarten. So when she's in kindergarten and she runs up against her first bully, it is about them. It's not about you, right? So to help her understand that something is happening in their life that is making them act out in this way. It's not you. And you can pray for them, you can support them, you can have empathy for them, but you must say, you are not allowed to touch my backpack, right? Because that's what was happening at the time at kindergarten. That's an easy visual. But those things also translate now, only it comes in a sneakier way, sometimes more complex way as an adult, in personal life, in business life. And you just have to understand, oh, they have an experience going on that's valid for them. And it's coming at me in ways, and I can understand it and I can appreciate it. But I do own that I have to set my own boundaries in a way that's going to make sense for me, and then accept those people for who they are and make sure there's enough of a cushion. It's so that was a long answer to observe and evaluate, not criticize and judge. It's tough work.
It is tough work. And the external judgment then begets this internal judgment. And that's where the self-love is thrown out there, like, take a bath. That's not what it's about. It's about caring for yourself like you would care for someone else. And a few years back, I know we're sharing woman to woman, but I've also told this to other men going through change, and they relate more than we think they do. And I can say that I have 4 boys, and I never realized how sensitive of a soul they had. But it is about taking care of yourself and realizing that you can take time to reflect and, just care. If you were to take care of a baby, what would you do? You would make sure that it has food and sleep and water and milk and whatever it needs. Why don't we do that to our own hearts? That's silly. But we get caught up in our day to day. I'm a single working mom with 4 boys, and my schedule is jam packed, but I still make time for my dreams, because one of the things you mentioned about connection, tell me what you think about this thought. I was thinking about leadership and trying to talk to my teenagers about it. And like half the battle is showing up. And I see that they crave connection. We all do, but especially when you're a teenager, you need those social interactions. But at the end of the day, we're all standing alone. You've got to be good with who you are. I think about that having been through a divorce, in a new relationship, having had businesses, leaving the businesses. Who am I without the other people? Who am I without the businesses? It's very easy to get caught up in branding yourself. I say that as a marketer, but branding yourself and your persona because of what you're surrounded by versus what you choose to be. So, and that's a harder route to take, but you'll be on your true north journey if you really focus on your own personal vision. And that's not to be selfish, but people do come in and out of your life. I'm in a very loving relationship. We're getting married this fall, very excited. And there's a piece of me too that says, well, I'm changing my name again. Who am I? Who am I? And if something happens to him, God forbid, I'm by myself again. So you better be clear and comfortable with who you are as a person. And I hope everybody has some leadership ability, because that bleeds into your professional life, which is why we're here. But also, like, this is more about, like, True North is about, you're a person at the end of the day. We talk about business, we talk about being an entrepreneur, but you're like a little molecule. Just like you find these connections along the way, but isn't it interesting when you look back and say, oh, I haven't talked to that person in 20 years, but somehow they touched you.
Right.
Somehow they changed your life. And I know that's what you're hoping to do in your future, is try to be that connector for other people and try to give them some pointed advice, but give them some direction. So what, just reflect on that. Like, I don't know if I'm completely off base, but
No, there's a couple of things. So first of all, my life's goal is to come up with a one-liner that people repeat forever, right? Because I use them, and I want to come up with one as well. So here's one that's not mine. I wish it was. You're a human being, not a human doing. So a long time ago, when someone asked me to tell them about myself, I went down a litany of things that I do. And they said, that's what you do, but who are you? And it was such an uncomfortable mind shift. And at the same time, when you use the phrase a couple of times about being by myself, I'm going to go to the movies by myself, I'm going to go to dinner by myself. The mind shift is, I'm going to go with myself.
mm,
And when you think about with yourself, and then, if you're going to do that, what about your company do you enjoy? Which is different. Here's the other phrase that popped into my mind that I wish I made up, but I did not. When the well is empty, nobody can drink. So if you have depleted yourself to that point, what service and purpose do you have? What love do you have to give? What light do you have to shine if you are so depleted, if your well is empty? So it isn't a selfishness that you want to make sure, I believe, that you have something to give, that you are restored in some way. It is a service, again, a mind shift. And we as women in particular, right? I'm a CEO, I'm a working mom. I do it all. Like I can't even believe what I can accomplish in a day. That human brain to just be able to juggle so many different things is astonishing to me. But you got to take a break, and you got to make sure that the well has got something there to give.
yeah, and I don't think we can hit that home enough. And it is astonishing to me as well how much we can do in a day. It's
Right.
insane. Managing. I did get a little more organized recently in the house, realizing, like, I've got to be the CEO of this house. Like, we need order in here. It's crazy with all these sporting events and different kids in different grades, from second grade to high school, and we're all over the place.
On that point, I would like to say this. So I have one. So I have a late in life miracle. Everything that is in aligned to make this as easy as possible is there, right? Two parents, my home is paid off. I don't have to worry about that. We've got jobs, we've got everything, and we've got one. And it's hard. So what we look at, there's a acronym called ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. And that's by the United Way. It's a report. Anybody can go out and look at it. But the income threshold to be an ALICE household is so shockingly low. You don't even know that how they are, they're not thriving, right? They're barely surviving. And primarily it's single women with children. And so how do they move forward? How do we get them to be able to move forward in all of these children? This is our future talent pipeline. And these are some of the things that I want to do in my work going forward, is to make sure that in some small way that I am still able to connect and inspire and shape policy and leadership that we can let everybody have a chance to thrive.
Yeah, and you'll do it.
Hope so.
So who are you, as we try to wrap, and gosh, I could talk to you for hours about all this stuff because it really gets my mind going. But
We'll have to have coffee. We can do that offline. We'll do that some other
for
time.
sure. But let's talk about who you're hoping to partner with in the future. Some, strategic partners, clients, who are you looking to help?
Well, before I came here, I was in public accounting. Nobody's ever met me and went, wow, you'd make a great accountant. I just have a little bit different energy about me, maybe, than your typical accountant. I do, but I have a little bit more to my personality than that. What I loved was working with small businesses and helping them thrive. So just like what I'm going through right now is we talked earlier, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. I realize that I cannot be a solopreneur. I need supports around me. I need people that can help me do some IT things or some marketing aspects or those along, so that the highest best use of my time is focused on what I'm best at, what I can bring. And that's what I want to do for others. I want small businesses to be able to thrive. How do I bring that, what can I bring to them? And I always say, like, I'm a Swiss Army knife, that I've got so many tools at my disposal that would be able to help. But that's really what I want, is to drive effective, efficient use of resources, giving people practical solutions that they can use right now. Not a book to put on a shelf, which maybe I'll write one of those. I'd like to do that too. That's on there, but really getting people to do that. And then also doing some coaching, talking to people so that you can, you have the answers inside of you. Sometimes you just need a little bit of framework and somebody to listen and help guide or give you a viewpoint so that you can go out and reach your full potential. Wouldn't that be exciting?
It would be. It would
to know
be.
that you could do that and watch the ripple effect of that positivity grow. Great.
Yeah, I think that speaks volumes for so many people who are just needing a nudge or somebody to believe in them. I agree with you. We all have it in there, but we've all had a moment where, I don't know, I doubt myself, or, I failed before. So what, that fear bubbles up, and you're the person that can pull that out from them and let them know that the potential's in there, but you got to find the string to tug at it, and encourage them. Everybody needs that. Again, it's connectedness, but also connected with your own dreams. And just, you got to believe, you got to have that faith in yourself that you can do it.
Absolutely. What I've seen in my role here, what Michigan Works has done for individuals, year after year after year, we have an event that we honor success. And every single person that has faced barriers beyond what anyone could imagine at times has said the same thing. If it wasn't for Rochelle at Michigan Works just telling me that I could do it, I wouldn't be here. Not enough resources, not enough time, not enough anything, but there was a belief. Somebody was there to tell them that they could achieve. And I don't think we have enough of that in our world. We have a lot of doubt. We have a lot of negativity. We have a lot of no. The number of times that you hear no in a day, or that you even say no in a day. If we can start to come from a place of yes, how powerful.
Yeah. Yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will, again, just try to wrap, but I wrote my vision before I made the jump to go back out on my own. I wrote a vision that, what if I were surrounded with possible people? Yes, that's possible people. Having this docuseries has allowed me to connect with all the yesers, if we want to make that a noun. But I really appreciate that, because that's a gift to me that you even said that. And it makes me feel like I've come full circle. So I hope that someone else is feeling that energy today. And I know that you've got an inspiring message, and we will be sure to follow you on your website, which I know you're working on, but we will put the URL at the end of this video. So thank you so much, Luann. I really wish you the best. I'm very excited for you.
Oh, thank you. And right back at you. I just look forward to watching you flourish and see how this docuseries unwinds. And it's an exciting time. There's a lot of opportunity out there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Luann. Have a great day, everyone.